crimes here on the Babe Hair Extensions YouTube channel. If you are brand new to this channel, welcome. This is a blogcast for stylists from stylists, specifically with extension artists in mind. But if you're not a stylist or an extension artist, you're still welcome to Crime Solve with us. We love having you here. For those of you who are always with us, welcome back. Y'all don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you know when new videos drop. My name is Courtney and I am your host. And I have a story for you today that is there's a lot. So I'm going to break this episode up into two parts. So you'll get part one today and part two next week. Part one today, part two next week. Okay? So I want to set you up for this story. Okay? So you're going to need a little visualization. I've got some things for you to look at as well. We're going to go through it. So pay attention. You ready? So this story came to me from a good friend of mine, and she had done a client's hair. This was her sister-in-law. So she had done her sister-in-law's hair. She had done some fusions in her hair, cut and blended them. Everything looked beautiful. Well, the sister-in-law was talking to her sister, okay? And was saying, oh my gosh, I got my hair done. You know, I'm so excited. You know, it looks amazing. I'll send you photos, whatever. And the sister-in-law's sister says, oh my gosh, I wonder if I could do that too. I just don't want to have to drive the 4 hours to see your stylist. And, you know, maybe I can find somebody local that will help me out. And so she did. Now, I want to give you kind of an idea of what the sister-in-law's sister's hair looked like, okay? So her hair was a chin-length bob, kind of just blunt bob, just chin length, but her hair was pretty fine. Now, I'm not talking about like see-through, like baby fine. I'm talking about like decently fine, okay? So very short to the chin, kind of bob, and then finer hair. Now, this client who had not wanted to travel the 4 hours, got her hair done. She got fusions put in just like the sister-in-law. And she said to the sister-in-law's stylist, I need help. I think something terribly awful went wrong and my head hurts. Like my scalp and my hair hurt and I feel like my hair is falling out. So the stylist had her drive, the 4 hours to come see her, which she gladly did at this point because her head was just hurting so bad. And the stylist took a look at it, and from what she said, this was so painful, it didn't look good, and it was so ratty on the ends, and it just did not blend well. So the stylist at this point could see that the extensions were just way too heavy. They were literally pulling her hair out, and they had to go. They just had to be removed, okay? So client 1, the sister-in-law, perfect, no problems. Client 2, the one that didn't want to drive 4 hours, chin-length bob, pretty fine hair, and just when the stylist looked at it, it was completely awful, okay? So here comes the fun part. Not really the fun part for the client at this point because it was, I'm sure, extremely painful. You can't make this stuff up though. Like seriously, like you can't make this up. Okay, you ready? Now, remember the client's hair, chin length, fine. Before she had the extensions, she had the chin length bob, pretty straight, no texture whatsoever. So just, again, very kind of limp hair, just no texture. When she got the extensions installed, the stylist that she had seen decided to give her body and her hair by using curly extensions. And since the client wanted them as long as possible, she broke all of the hair extension rules and purchased 22-inch extensions. Curly fusion extensions, okay? So 22-inch hair on a chin-length bob, curly on somebody that has extremely just straight hair. Are you guys getting this? She applied all these fusions, but only 2 rows. So she did 2 halo rows around from temple to temple. So just two rows. I have a visual. Just hold on. Okay, friends. So chin length bob. Okay. So this is how the client started out. So no texture, just straight chin length bob. Okay? So keep this image in your head till we go on to the next one. The following events are horrific and should be viewed with caution. So please take care while watching. And do not attempt this by yourself at all, ever. Okay? Here we go. Okay, so for demonstration purposes, I literally only did a couple of these to kind of show you a visual for two reasons mostly. One, I like my mannequins and I try not to destroy them if possible because they come in handy for all sorts of situations. Two, I wasn't entirely sure what this would do to my melting connector either. And so I just decided to do a couple of these so you can see sort of a decent visual of what this looked like, okay? So remember blunt bob and then curly extensions on blunt bob. Now, these were not wavy extensions. It's not like a little wave. No, these were curly extensions, okay? So curly extensions on a blunt bob. Honestly, in my head, like when I'm like reading the story, I'm thinking like a jellyfish, right? Like, I don't know if that popped into your brain, but I'm just envisioning this like mushroom cloud of like limp, fine hair, and then just jellyfish tentacles like hanging down. So that's kind of what popped into my brain. If that popped into your brain, yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So blunt bob, curly, and remember these were fusion bonds. So if they're not attached correctly, there's no moving them, there's no fixing them. It's just what it is. So remember, this was pulling and painful, and she's losing hair over this. So just not a good idea at all. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so when the stylist was looking at this, she said when she got into the installation, it looks like she had only applied the 2 rows, the halo sections, around her head, and there's probably only about like 3 packages installed in total. As the stylist was looking around at them, she could see that they definitely needed to be removed because the bond was a full bond and it was pulling her hair out. They were installed way too tight with tons of elevation, and you can actually see like those little white bulbs on her actual hair strand. So not only were they pulling, but since they were too long and they were just way too heavy for her hair, and because they were curly and not a good brand, they were also having like tangling and matting issues as well. So yeah, here comes the removal part, right? So we assess the situation, we see that this is just not good at all, like whatsoever. And obviously we're gonna take them out. You guys wanna know what happens next? You have to wait for part 2. We'll see you next week, crime solvers. Hey, crime solvers. So while you're waiting for part 2, I want to encourage you guys to go to babehairextensions.com and sign up for our Solutions Academy, Babe U. We have monthly subscriptions, yearly subscriptions, and a couple of little freebie videos on there for you. So go ahead and check that out if you're a stylist. Also, don't forget to go to our Instagram and our TikTok for more laughs and learns. We'll see you next week.